Hello there, Travis and Miles. Okay, let's go straight to trash. And by trash, I mean into the recycling for batteries. Alright, everything seems blimmin' wonky here. Wonky and offset. Okay. Oh well, it is what it is. Okay, let's see what we've got to get out of here. Pretty much this is essentially going to be a keyboard replacement process because the battery replacement process is a trivial 5-second thing. I just noticed I don't have a... Oh my god, I'm tearing up the backlight strip. I don't know where the Wi-Fi module is on this. That's gonna be fun. Not sure where the hell that even went. I can only hope there was one in there. I'll have to go back and look at the old video. It's a little weird. Not something I'd normally take off until I'm actually gonna do... Oh, duh. There we are, there's the Wi-Fi module. In the screw container. Hey Jason, good to see you here. Oliver, Teresa, Andrew, James McPhilly, Dextralian. Alrighty. Right, so there's a couple of ways you can go about this. You can take the screen off, or you can... I'm trying to decide which way I want to go. What the hell? Random... Okay, so there. These ones are a little bit trickier than 1466s, just the way that they hold in everything. I might take the screen off for safety's sake. And Jason says, just that sort of thing. Yeah. It only takes one bad hiccup and yeah. Hey, full wave. Yeah, these are probably riveted. Very much likely riveted. By the way, I just spent the last day and a half cleaning up the workshop, reorganizing things. Hopefully I'll do a little better in the productivity stakes, or rather do a little better in not misplacing everything. Ever rip the coax center? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a pain in the backside to solder those things back on. Have done it reluctantly. Not too many times on these ones, but certainly things like 1502s and 1398s are so notorious for it. Just going to give this a little bit of heat, soften up that glue a bit. Hello, Burbass. Unfortunately, you have to take the speakers out if you want to be able to get the keyboard out. Well, this one's really... It's persistent. I'll give it that. See how that just peels off the backlight layer? Let's see if we can go the other direction. No, that still also peels it off. It's near impossible to get it off perfectly. Try a little bit of heat. So you don't have this problem with the 1466. It doesn't have these fold over retaining cables, sticker things. And what's more amusing is that they actually go under the keyboard. Like, you've actually got to feed them through the back of the keyboard. I wonder if people just throw Captain tape back on there and say, okay, stuff it. We're not going to do it the hard way. Okay, there we go. Alright, still got to get that keyboard speaker off. I might just drop some IPA in there. Not a lot, just a drop or two. Hey, B-Dog. Hey, Wayne Taylor. There we go, that's helping. Okay. Just make sure that microphone doesn't get snagged. Alright, here we go. Part one of the fun process. Now, let's see, I need a particular pair of tweezers for this. Well, I should rather say I have a preferred pair of tweezers for doing this sort of work. Ah, there they are. Okay. And then I've got to get a, pardon me, and then I've got to get a brick and everything will hold down. So you burn your fingers for a little bit. Just a little bit. Ow. Yeah, I like that. Basically, I'm just taking it easy because I don't want to have to replace the backlight layer. Yeah, this is where I need my brick. I bet you I took all the bricks out. I did. Damn it. I always forget to keep one brick. I'll be right back. Alright. Yeah. So this has already had a... No, it can't have not. It's okay. I misguided there for a second. I thought for a moment it had a replacement keyboard already, but it does not. Alright, now we can work the underside. Tends to be a bit easier. Yeah. And that way we don't need to replace this. I can't say I'm a big fan of beer either myself, so I'm in that camp with you, Wayne. I mean, each to their own, of course. I'm just not a fan. I mean, I'll tolerate it. There are some beers that I will drink if situation rises, but it's pretty rare. I'd much sooner grab something like a cider. Alright, first part of this process is grabbing all the screws that you can get out. And then once you've got those, then you can do the rivets. These ones have been a little bit difficult. Might just zoom in a little more. There we go. You can see traces of liquid damage down here, just in this area, which is about where we had the troubles. We had the trouble with the arrow keys. There. It is a shame that they don't put the screws all the way through the board, but it is unfortunately what we have to deal with. I mean, they certainly did it with the earlier versions, the 1278s and things like that, but we're not so blessed anymore to have that. I have a 1286 board, yeah. If you're lucky, yours will have all screws, and while it is tedious and boring, at least it already is screws. Unlike these damn things. I love that they mislead you as well. You're like, oh boy, it's got screws on it when you're first peeling back the backlight layer. And then you find out, nope, and I've lost a screw. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure if the 1276, 1270, 1286, 1278 or 1296 ever came out with rivets. I think it wasn't until the the 14 and 15 series. I suppose you got the 1398, yeah. I don't really bother with the packing tape thing myself. I mean, you're right, it does reduce the shower of rivets that go everywhere, but I still don't bother myself. Yeah. I don't want to mess up that microphone. There we go. They actually felt pretty good, a lot of those. I think a reasonable majority actually came out properly. It didn't have, like, a lot of the time if they're not coming out properly, you really feel the difficulty in lifting them up. But that one came out fairly smooth. Now I'm just going to pick up any stray runners that I find before I get into the rest of it. Get my clippers ready to pull them out like like stubborn wisdom teeth. It's just a shame that they're not made of some sort of ferrous material, because that would make it very easy to collect them, of course. Just run a magnet over the bench and all done. Can't have things easy. I might just wash this side as well. It's been a couple of days. What would be the best way to find out what sensors are where on a 1465? The board view should show you. Like, if you look at the schematic and you go to the sensors page on the schematic, then they should show up on the board view. There will be a couple in the fin stack and things like that, and they're actually on your DC, the actual DC inboard. That can be one point that it gets a little bit entertaining with these models. Alright. Reusing the rivets? Absolutely, creature, absolutely. Yeah, it's actually, looks like that's a pretty good pull, that one. I can see one. Very few stayed around. Definitely got one there too. Yeah, that's actually an exceptionally good pull, if I so say myself, or say so myself. Yeah, Luke, if you look, just search for sensors or TCR01 or something like that, and you'll find it. That is a gnarly looking. Okay, so grab on the inner, give it a little twist, pop it out. I find the twist, at least for me, is essential. If you don't twist it to sort of like dislodge it, it tends to... Oh, that just popped out on its own. That was like a very satisfying blackhead or something. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much all of them. Yeah, I think it was only the two that stuck around. The rest of them, and that second one probably would have just fallen out if I flicked it. Well, it's a rare win. I'll take that. Yes, liquid damage was the reason why we are replacing it, of course. Shock horror, there are reasons for doing the job. And we're going to clean it up with some 80/20. Make sure we don't get the trackpad. That'll be a little bit unfortunate if we snared that in the process. W. Yeah, I've noticed that, Jason. I don't know why, but it's not too often that you get I mean, occasionally you'll get that 1465 that it all just slides off so very beautifully, but as you make a comment there, it is moderately rare. Oops. It is interesting that when you take the keyboards out, you start to realize just how dirty the chassis is. Hey, Michael Tritz. How does water destroy the keyboards? The water itself tends not to be the actual problem maker directly. It's all the junk that is in the keyboard, and it becomes dissolved in the water, or the water is a solvent. And then when that happens, it then goes between the membranes on the keypad, and once it gets into the membranes of the keypad, it either can short out the key switch, or it can leave physical obstructions there, such as sand and things like that. Honestly, sometimes I just want to dip this into the ultrasonic cleaner like that. So there you are, job done. Was this 40 Australian for a wear it kit? Which kit? That's pretty damned expensive. That's a good question. I don't know which to... What is it? No, it's neither. It's some natural non-plastic one. So it's probably tapioca starch or something like that. I don't know. Alright. Looks like we're about ready to put the new one in. The only trouble when you're putting in the new keyboard is that it does tend to rest a little proud. Okay, I'll just... Okay, just had to make sure I had the right keyboard. Wouldn't be the first time I've ordered something and got something I didn't order. I will say though, on the topic of rivets, I prefer at least that it's done like this rather than the plastic rivets that you get in most PC keyboards, Because at least with these metal construction situations, you can take out the rivets, you can put in replacement screws, things like that. But with those plastic nipple type keyboards, it's you just have to replace the whole top deck. Yes, you can if you have like access to plastic welding, or if you're skilled in that, and you've got a few spare sticks of suitable plastic to build up new nipples, but it's a pain. So sooner have this situation than the plastic rivet situation. Hey, Unimara. Good timing. Yes, very good timing. Now you have to explain to people around you what in the hell was going on there. Okay, I don't like that. That just... Why'd you crimp there? Don't like it when it crimps in strange ways. Especially considering I was stupid enough to only buy one keyboard. That's an amateur mistake, to only buy one of the part that you're replacing. Professionals know that you always buy at least two parts of whatever it is that you're replacing. Or at least three, yeah. One to stuff up and one to have on standby for future jobs. Damn it. Just making sure it looks okay from this side. Okay. So what we're going to do, now that we've got the perimeter ones partially in, I'll start working from the center and go out. Otherwise what you end up with is you have this dome effect in the middle, or rather a recessed effect in the middle, because you've compress the keyboard inwards to the middle, and it's got nowhere else to go but to dome. I need to go get some screws for these. Now I do know that I've got an absolute quadrillion of them, but as always the question is, where is that quadrillion of them? Is that I have been organising my workshop, but there's still some work yet to be done. Oof, smells like I've got a battery leak in here. That sweet siren smell that means bad things. Tell you what, once I find these, I'm going to keep them in the workshop. Aha, found them. Alright, so I think I got about 10 or 20 bags in here. And each bag should do a keyboard. Pretty close to a keyboard. Scored myself a little baggie of stuff. I'm sure Weeha is pretty good. I just don't like their handles as much. I'm using these for the interior. I will use the originals for the perimeter still. Again, there is a bit of a technique to getting these in without without either threading them or getting them cross-threaded, even though there's no thread. And without stripping the heads. And unfortunately, this particular driver is somewhat seeing the end of its life. And just sort of feel it's not quite as bitey as it used to be. Which is not bad. I mean, I've had this for a few years now. And I use it quite a lot every day. The only reason the AFP would come here is if they're looking for some themselves. And then they would arrest me for false advertising. I'm just trying to pick my preferred midpoints. I'll show you the wearer set that I've got. There was also where have I put you, wearer? Where are you, wearer? So this is one of my spare kits. Hey Harold. So it's a good kit. It's a good kit. This one's my spare one. And it's got pretty much everything you need. Bar, what's the one thing I have? Oh, they don't have the larger pentalobe, that's it. Yeah, it's the only omission they have, and for that, yeah, I've got the Weeha. I have written to Aware on numerous occasions saying, you guys really need to get that larger pentalobe, and they're like, but nobody uses it. I'm like, what the hell, you know, it's you produce the tri-wing, you produce the smaller pentalobe, and you won't go and produce the bigger one? Anyway, so yeah, that's my fancy spare one. I also have another similar kit, and I've got duplicates of quite a lot of the others. It just, you seem to collect them. Wayne, where are you seeing them for 139 Australian? Because that's bloody cheap. Do you want to give me a link? Might pick up another box and do a giveaway. But the trouble is, Australian giveaways don't work so well, I've noticed. And nobody wants to pay for the freight internationally. Ah, right. That will be micro. Stop. You know where he is? Oh, right. Okay, let's find somewhere soft. There you go. Oh good. Yeah, all good.
Good
Yeah.
job. Good job, Bubba. Good job.
28's still out and about.
Milo's just lying over there like you went out the front with Mia.
Okay. Alright. And we are back. Jason, yeah, occasionally I don't do it. Oh, I just realised that's actually bloomin' sharp. Haven't tried it on these ones yet, but I do it on the pentalobes. Not the pentalobes, the torques. Anyway, those types. I will occasionally just take the thinned out portion off. Yeah, I might try freshen this one up since we're here. I'm not going to use the Dremel, I'm just going to use the other side, you idiot. Okay. Yeah, it's still a bit jumpy. That's okay. I do have the other driver, the one that's like, this is the 00. I do have the 000 driver, and that's particularly good for these sort of screws as well, but it's a bit of a, I kind of need a 00.5 to be realistic. 000 is too flat, too shallow, and 00 tends to be a little bit too deep. But I generally have more success with the 00. It's just a case of once you've got the rhythm and the feel, it's not too bad. I guess it's a case you don't do it often enough. This is not something you'd want to do with an electric screwdriver. There's no way you would get the pressure and torque control. It is definitely a by hand process. Yeah, Jim's here. Hello, Jim. So, did anyone know if Lewis actually re-emerged after the Sasquatch bridge? Or did the troll get him? Because he was driving back to New Hampshire, his home, I believe, and then he just vanished. Do we need to put an APB out? Wayne, they do have the normal pentalobe, but I don't think they've got the one that we use for the MacBooks. They don't have the extra, the larger one. Because the normal pentalobe I've got. So where is it? Yeah, you see the one IPR. You probably can't see that, but anyway. Yeah, the one IPR I do have. That's the normal iPhone type pentalobe. But the one for the MacBooks, of course, is bigger. You use a electrics driver for this? Jeez, I don't know if I'll be game. I'm going to be stubborn and stick to my antiquated ways and disregard any opinions otherwise. And then what we'll need is an autoloader for the screws. Now that would be a time-saving feature. Oh yes, that's right, Jim. You guys came out of the demented daylight savings system. I do wonder if they... Oh, okay, that's probably someone sending me a link to something, I bet. Yep, close enough, close enough. A picture. How often do you remagnetize? Probably only every week. I find if I don't drop it, it tends to last pretty good. Dropping them does make them lose their magnetism if you drop them onto something hard. Nine. Okay, something's going on there. No, nah, my bad. It also doesn't help that I can barely see what I'm doing. Hey, that's why we invented glasses. The trouble is, these glasses that were good for this sort of distance 18 months ago, they're not so good for that distance anymore. Sort of back here a little bit. It's more of a 40 to 50 centimeter thing now rather than a 30 centimeter thing as it was originally. Hey Ben Wilson. I do have one of those proper magnetizer, demagnetizer type bits of gear, and I occasionally use that. Half the time I just grab one of the neodymium magnets and run along the shaft until it gets all sorted out. I had to really think about the words to use then. Microscopes would be very handy, except for the fact that you can't get the screwdriver under there. Ach, nee man. I'm screwing the keyboard in. I'll be there eventually. I run the screw backwards a little bit. It just sort of gives it that tiny bit of a countersink effect, so that when you do finally go the correct direction to put it in, it seems to go in a little smoother. Either that or it's slightly grinding down the screw itself. Either way, it tends to make the process a bit smoother. the owner gave the consent. Hey Greg, how goes your daily courier and AliExpress woes? Oh, I went to go and buy a little desktop CNC machine, and would you believe it? The bastards put it up $120. I was like, right, that's a sign that I shouldn't get it yet. Not that I'm expecting it to get cheaper, but just rather a case of, well, there goes that little moment of fanciful living. And I'll just have to wait until such time that perhaps I have a large workshop or something. Until then, it would appear the universe is saying, thou shalt not get a desktop CNC. Alright, looks like we just got the perimeter ones due now, so we'll actually put these back into the baggie for the next keyboard. Make sure I don't get any screws in the keyboard, because once they get in under those sort of lever action areas, it can be pretty hard to get them out. Wayne, it was the man. Let's see if I can find it. What? Ah. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, this one here. Oh, that is some block. I don't know why all of a sudden I have got all this crap happening on my screen. Oh well, anyway, so yeah, this is the one. It was something like 500 before, and now it's not. So I might have to go for the even smaller version. But I don't think these guys, I don't think they have the smaller version. The smaller version uses instead of the main carriage moving across the platform, they move the platform within and the carriage stays stationary, which I actually kind of prefer. I'm not really a big fan of the moving gantry too much, but I guess as you get bigger it's a little bit tricky. Anyway, I'm going to get back to the overhead because that glitching is driving me insane. The issue I have with a flying gantry or a moving gantry is that you've got so much mass on that gantry, and when you're trying to shift it around, it does tend to wobble a hell of a lot. Or at least it's a lot harder to keep it stable, whereas if you're just moving the workpiece, that's quite a bit easier to keep stable. Not that it's a big issue with these tiny sort of things. We're almost there. You've all been so wonderfully patient. I've got nothing to reward you with though. Other than maybe some scorn and disdain. That glitching, by the way, that was probably actually Wayland being a little whiner. Okay. Apparently, I have 2 missing perimeter screws. And yet, I cannot see 2 missing perimeter screws. Even that one's in. It's just the 2? It's just the 2. I get the feeling that they were in the corners here. No? Third row from the bottom or from the left. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You're talking about this? That's a stud. It's not a screw point. Maybe it was these 2 here. No, but that's where the circuit board goes. So top left and right, that's those there. They're in. They're all accounted for. Oh, no, that's not it. Sorry. No, it's got me stumped. The only thing I can possibly think of is those 2, but no. I might have put them in without thinking about them being perimeter ones. That's the only thing I can think of. Anyway, that looks good. Near the escape key. No, that's all in there. And like I said, these, it would have to be perimeter ones only, not internal ones. Because the perimeter ones are the ones we've got the 2 extras with. But I'm thinking that these 2 up here I put in using the screws from the non-perimeter ones. Or there was that one. Either way, it doesn't matter. I cannot see any missing screws there. So I think we've got them all. I just ended up putting 2 in that I didn't need to. Alright, now the horrible part. Putting everything back together. Ugh. We'll worry about folding that back later. Obviously it never quite goes back as neatly as it came out. You do your best. At least if you can get it down, then once the circuit board's on, it's okay. Okay, there was a little retainer ring that I need to put back on. There it is. That just kind of holds it down a little more. Hey, Costas. Saw a kid doing 3098 and he was using glue. Oh, hell. Why? Yeah. That's pretty much sums up the existence of so many things. So there's no point doing it the right way because nobody cares. Nope, you had it right, Paul. You had it right. You just gotta have the confidence to do it properly. There. Oh, we're on stamps. I don't mind hot glue. It has its uses. I think, you gotta be careful not to lean on it too much. It can get a little bit too much of a bodge fix a little too often. I just realised I've got to wash this board. Yeah, this board has had a SMC replacement and everything else. So yeah, that's definitely got to go through a wash, as does the DC in board. That looks like hell. That's okay. We'll just get this back onto the chassis, the screen, because that's going to be the annoying part. So very annoying. I cannot begin to describe to you how annoying this particular part of the process is. Let me just say it's annoying. I mean, really annoying. Makes me not want to do it properly. Jason, I haven't had a chance yet. I'm busy trying to do this. I have heard them come through, but I haven't had a chance to do it. Everyone, where are you? These little slottos. I probably should have done this before I did the backlight layer. I'll show you what the issue is. Okay. And it's incredible that they even did this on this. You see that slot there? That is where those adhesive tabs, so they come in from above and go out the slot. It is exceptionally infuriating to the point where you, like I said, you really just don't want to do it. Use tape. Jason. How can you do that to yourself? Where is the sense of sadomasochism and pride? To be honest, I actually don't know how the feck they get them in so well. When you say tape, are you meaning you just take these fold up strips off and say stuff you apple, or do you mean you have a trick for actually sliding them through really easy? Because I'll be happy to listen to a trick. Which doesn't involve me making them stick to themselves. And of course the fun thing is, the further along you get, the more they will constrict what you can. Ach, niemand bakkak. There we go. Oh, Jason cheats. I can't believe I'm actually hearing that from you, Jason. Damn, that's like hearing that Lewis apparently isn't as interesting as he seems to be on YouTube. To be fair, that's from his own mouth, not me. Jeff, I find unfortunately it's too hot here to use hot glue for hinges, so I use the wholesome goodness of JB World, which is an excellent product for that sort of thing. I do find occasionally though I need to put some sort of fibrous reinforcement in it. But overall, yeah, trying to use hot glue in this type of environment, that's a recipe for disaster. Come here, you little maggots. Eek. Sorry. Please stand by as I try not to completely ruin this machine after all that work. Okay, and there we have properly pulled through. Not really. Alright, let's get this back together. Let's see, Wayne Taylor, my mate in Shenzhen has CNC 1419. He's with the offline. Wow. Yeah, I don't want laser though. Laser's no good to me. Laser's no use to me at all. I just want the router head, the milling head. I have no need for laser. Because I'm going to be working on synthetic rock. You know, syn rock. Hey DeAndre, could you make a UT620 module for OB data flex PV, at least make it with non-numerical characters in M data to make it easier? Oh, okay, well I can you send me some samples of the data it does produce, and at least from that I'll be able to work it out. See, the trouble is I do sometimes use the alpha characters to define some things, so I'll have to evaluate your offer there and ascertain as if I can make it work or not. So now the next trick here is you've got to actually get the cable back into the groove, because if it's not in the groove, then it's not going to want to pick up the Wi-Fi, because it's just like, I don't feel like it, man, I'm not in the groove. Alright. When the Wi-Fi is not groovy, that's not good. Okay, naturally, because these bastards don't even stick back, because it's a one-time adhesive offer from Apple. Yeah, they have that spray, Start You Bastard. Well, they need another spray called Stick You Bastard. Just realised that's supposed to go over that first, and then the lock in. There we go. Same as Banggood 600 shipped. That actually sounds pretty good, Wayne. Sounds pretty good. You might have to email me, Wayne, just so I remember when I'm finished this horrendous task that I'm battling with now. Otherwise I'm going to get to the end of the night and I'm going to be like, what was it that Wayne wanted? I know, I'm terrible. I'm very demanding in that respect. I'm like, I force everybody to basically compensate for my laziness and lack of willingness to remember things. I thought that's the way it was meant to be done. There's no frickin' way that that is the right screw for that. Just no frickin' way. Ah, geez, Pedro's in the room. Everybody clear out. Or just, you know, hide anything that's important to you. Okay, let me just catch these SMSs up. Oh man, I paid, damn it. That took longer than a month to watch all the shows I wanted on Stan. That's annoying. Right, I've seen Jason's pictures. Keith, I am, but I want to test the board first, because I don't really wish to proceed beyond here without knowing that the keyboard does actually work. Okay. We're not going to need the fan for this short period of time. Ugh, come on. Gotcha. Ah, crap, I can't remember whether it was that way or the other way. I think it was this way. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? Something blows up. Oh yeah, it is this way because it's got a it's got a very distinct dog leg in it. Right. Another problem solved. Oh, Jason, don't worry. Please don't think that I was genuinely mocking you. I would not do that. It was just more amusing to me because I know that you take great lengths to making sure that things are done right. So it was a rare opportunity for me to have a laugh. I will take that sticker off later. For now, it can stay there. Thomas, not going to have that happening tonight. Or at least I hope not. Not willingly, anyway. Oh yeah, we may as well plug the battery and make sure that charges properly. It's a nice fresh battery, which means absolutely diddly freaking squat. The number of times that you get what is supposed to be a fresh new battery, only to find that, well, it doesn't work, is surprisingly common. Guess what? I didn't plug the damned backlight for the keyboard in. Pedro, are you quite happy with yourself stealing all my jobs? And I mean, I see you doing the CD3215s and what next 17s. You're going to leave me with no market at all soon. You're going to have people secretly calling you up, say, hey, listen, I normally send jobs to Paul Daniels, but he's a bit of a whatchamacallit, so I'm going to send him to you because you seem like a nice guy, Pedro. Of course, yeah, that'd be their biggest mistake, but hey. Okay, option. One job. Yeah, it all starts with one job, like that first MacBook you got. You're like, oh, I'm just going to try it for fun. And what do you know? You're hooked. And what happens when you're hooked now? How many machines have you got in your house? How many machines do you have now, Pedro, in your house? You've got dozens. Dozens. You're an addict. You have no way of stopping. You're out of control. It's only a hobby. Yeah. Of course it's only a hobby. So's murdering people. Jason, Pedro lives in the glorious, perfect city of Canberra, where all the politicians love to congregate and get lots of things that the rest of Australia is not permitted to have for decades. Yes, Travis, I do have rooms full of parts, but I do this as a profession. Like, it's not my hobby. At the end of the day, I'll walk away from this. Okay, so we've got 76% charge, so that's pretty good. Pedro, I'm not going to talk about the laws that allowed Canberra politicians or Canberra people to have stuff that the rest of Australia could not have for so many years. It kind of seems a little amusing to me that they were allowed to have such illicit things for so long, and yet they were the moral centre of Australia. Shame, shame, shame. Well, there you are. Fireworks is another one. I actually wasn't aware of that one. To be fair, I thought Northern Territory let you do that too. Or at least they used to. I know when I was a kid and living up in the Northern Territory we were allowed to. Okay, the keys all work, so that's good. It's not quite as slick as the original, but it's pretty good. And when I say not quite as slick, it's more for when I'm like running my finger across like that. Backlight for the keyboard works just fine. That works. Battery percentage just jumped up 1%, so that's good. We're all good. So now I can put this one into the wash. It's 1.7 i5 and 8 gigs of RAM. That's crazy. Why would you stick that into an 11-inch MacBook? It was also more that you could only buy certain audio-visual paraphernalia from Canberra. Canberra was the only place allowed to have it. So the rest of the world, rest of Australia had to hope that their brown paper wrapped packages were not being inspected by the people from Canberra. Alright, so we're all good here now. I've got a couple of these 11 inches. I initially thought I would like them, but in the end I've got to admit I much prefer the 13. And I was a big proponent of the whole netbook craze, back in the early 2000s. The Asus EPCs, things like that. Very much in my kind of way of thinking and the way I liked things. But yeah, trying to use the actual computers, I do find I prefer the 13-inch option. Alright, so at least we know that all works. What's been done works, so that's very happy about that. Now we just got to wash the board, and then that's it. Put it back together, and we should be good. I'll just take these screws out for the heatsink. Hey Jesse Dahl, is buying keyboards from AliExpress a bad idea? No, I've generally found them to be pretty good. If you're talking about replacement for the laptops, I mean they're not going to be usually genuine new or anything like that, but if you can, depends on which one you're getting. I do occasionally buy complete top decks for laptops from them. Generally speaking, aside from Greg M's terrible experiences, generally speaking, I have found I usually do pretty good with AliExpress sellers, so long as they've got a decent reputation to start with. Alright, what's your number, Mr. Laptop? You are 1219. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me about the DCM board. I would have got that eventually, after I forgot about it. So thank you. Let's connect that. And I've taken that 21 inch 2015 iMac, and I've decided to keep that one for myself, and I'm going to sell the 2013 one to someone else. Trying to think of a good price for it. I figure about, given that it's got a 500 gig SSD in it, I should be able to get $500 for it locally, I hope. Otherwise I'll probably be losing money on that, to be honest. Still, the market doesn't owe you anything, so if you lose money on it, that's your own fault. I hate it when people put stuff up and go, I just spent $5,000 on fixing up my car and I want at least that plus another 20. And you're like, it's a second-hand car and the parts you put on weren't even like genuine. You've modified it to your personal image. I don't really care for it, so I'm not paying you for that. I'll give you this much money for it and you can take it or leave it. I just realised I have now moved the I've moved the, what do you call this thing? The ultrasonic cleaner. Yeah, I've moved the ultrasonic cleaner off to another part of the room now. Hopefully I haven't done a regrettable thing, but we'll see. Okay, you guys need to be ultrasonic. You guys need to be examined. Yeah, okay, that should be good. Alright, it's 11:30. I did not get to sleep till 4:30 this morning and I got woken up at 10. So 5.5 hours sleep. I am now starting to feel a little bit fuzzy. So I'm going to call it for tonight. Thanks all for watching. I know we didn't really actually do any soldering or anything like that, but hey, you can't have a fantastic time every time. I'm out of here. You all take care. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you later.